Hi, oh good day to everyone that is currently watching. This is our group project for the Subject Object Oriented Programming OOP. For the project, we will be presenting to you the project of handling and creating a cybercafe system. Without further ado, let's get to it. As you can see, this is the agenda page, where it contains a little of everything that is inside of our group project. There are several topics to be covered in this project, where we will start off with the introduction to group members, and then we will proceed to problem statement and objective. So, in conjunction with that, we will then look at the whole CyberCafe coding and its related program. And then last but not least is the conclusion that we have concluded for the project and precious knowledge we've learned throughout the whole completion. So here they are, the introductions to all the group members that contributes to this project. This group consists of 4 members which have all give their very best in completing the task given to prepare this project with high hopes of scoring high marks in object-oriented programming. Let's go! We'll introduce all the group members' names starting from left to right. The members are Mohammed Hadif Armand Faris, Rifki Rosya Risaidi, and Amana Lutfi, and all the members' program were information technology, while the matrix number and contributions towards the project is written in the slide.
So why we choose CyberCafe for our OOP project? Customers at the CyberCafe encountered a persistent issue with the balance of remaining time on their sessions. The inaccurate time tracking system led to premature logouts, causing frustration and interruptions in their task. Some patrons received less time than paid for, while others struggled with understanding the complex time calculation, leading to dissatisfaction and complaints.
For a program overview and objective, there have 3 main objective for our project this time. First one, we have add and drop computer. Second one is create customers account, and for the last one is add balance to customers account. Next is create customers account. User can create a customers account and see the balance. What the system need is an ID number and password. When the customer want to use the PC, the user will key in the ID and customer can use the last one, add balance to customer's account. User can top up the balance to customer's account. If the balance didn't have on customer's account, the PC can't be used otherwise. They need to top the balance for use that PC.
So this is our GUI interface. It's contained the user detail file that will store the data of the user. This file is empty because there's no data have been included yet. So the first button is create account that will ask the user ID and password. After the user account have been created, it will display a message account with ID that have been created successfully. We have created 2 users for this demonstration. After that, the user details file that will update the data of the user. The console from this project also will show the data of the user that have been created. The other button is add balance, so it will ask the user ID and the balance that want to be added. Then it will show the balance of the user. Then it will show the balance of the user. We also can add the balance for the user, and it will update the new balance of the user. Next button is a check balance, so we just need the user ID and it will show the user balance. This is the example. You can choose any PC and it will have 4 options. The first one is use PC. It will ask the user ID to use the PC. After the PC have been used, the indicator will change the color to the blue. If the user doesn't have balance in the account, so it cannot use the PC and the indicator remain to green color. The ID that have been put is not correct, so it will show the message the user not found. The other option is drop PC. Let's say the PC is broke, so they can drop the PC and the PC indicator would change to the gray color. After the PC have been dropped, there would be two more options, which is add PC or cancel. So if we click the cancel button, there's nothing change, but if we click add PC, so the indicator would change to the green. Last button is close PC. After this button have been clicked, so the PC indicator would change the color to the green that have been shown that the PC is available again. So this code I will be explain the main class. First, we have import the Java Swing and Java release. For the main class, we have extend it with a JFrame. So we have a private. We have declare a panel using arrays that have been used a private. So and then we have a release for the user that will be we also have been used as use a protected. A release of user will contain a data of the user. So in the public main, first thing we have set up the mainframe, which is the set title. The title will be Cyber Cafe. It will have a default size which is 800 times 600 pixel. Have a grid 3 times 3 and have a gap between the panel which have a 5 pixel. And then for this is how we create the interface for the PC indicator, which is have a SIG PC indicator. And for this loop, it have been color panels and change color button have been initialized in this loop. So the this PC plus I plus 1 will be PC1 until PC6 using in the index. So the action listener would be the to handle the interaction with the user, and action perform have been used to set a button action after the button have been clicked. So if this statement is true, so the color will change to the gray, and then it will be contain two other options, which is add the PC or cancel. So if this option have been choose, which is add PC, so the PC indicator will be changed to green color. And this is how we set up a button, which is we have use a string and list array list that have a contain a use PC button, drop PC, add PC, and close PC. So select an option for PC, which also using the same index. And then if this statement is choose, so this is a use PC option, which is will ask the user ID, and then if the user ID is equal to the find by user ID, and then it will go to this existing user. So if the existing user have get balance more than 0, so it will change the color to the blue. If not, it will remains the color to the green. And this is other statement that might be happen, which is um, the existing user has no balance, or the user with this ID is a new user, or the user ID has not been created, so it will show this message. So this is the exception that we have made, which is if the we have set the ID is integer. So if we input the ID not using the integer, so it will occur the error message, which is invalid ID input, please enter a valid integer ID. So this is the other choice, which is drop PC. uh, Drop PC will change the color of the indicator to the gray, and then this is a second choice, which is add PC. If it's true, so it will change the color of the indicator to the green back, and then this is the uh, third choice, which is a close PC. So it will also change the color to the green back, and then this is how we set up a create account button, add balance button, and check balance buttons. So we also have a add list action listener, which is we handle the user interaction and action perform, which is what the button would do if the button have been clicked. So if if the create account button have been clicked, so it will go to the create account window class, and it will be the same for add balance button and check balance buttons. And then this is how we set up the position and the panel for these three buttons. So the next is loop for find user ID. So if the user is same with the specific user ID, so it will return to the user. And then so this is how we used to load the user data after we input it from the application. So we have used ArrayList and have named the file user details.txt. We also using a buffer reader, so it will copy the input to the file, and then the input that will be copied is the ID and the password. So this is the public static void main. So we have declared a new object from main class, and then we also make a exception for upload user from file, and this is if the file is not been loaded, so it will occur the error of loading user data from input file. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Today I will be explaining three classes that is in our project. The first one is user class, the second one is new user class, and the third one is existing class. For the user class, we use abstract class. This means that the variables that are declared cannot be changed when used in other classes. There are two variables that we declared in this class, which is ID and also password. As we can see here, the access modifiers are protected, and for the variable type, type for ID is integer and password is string. Next, in the user constructor, we applied encapsulation method, which is this.id and this.password. We also use the accessor and mutator, which is the getter and setter method for both the ID and password variables. Lastly, we declared a variable which is called sign in. This method is an abstract method, which means it has no body, and the body will be declared by other classes that use this method. The second class that I will be explaining is the new user class. This class uses inheritance method. It extends the user class, so the new user is a subclass to user, the parent class. We also use polymorphism method here. Polymorphism is achieved through method overriding in the existing user and new user subclasses. They both override the sign-in method from the user abstract class. We've overridden the sign-in method to handle the sign-up processes for new users. This is for collecting user information. When a new user signs in, it will display their account details, including a unique ID and password. Next, this part is for saving details. We save the user's ID and password to save to a file name user_details.txt. Here in the write to file method, to write users new data and to save the user's data. Here is the exception part. We use try catch block to handle the possible IO exceptions. The third class is existing user class. The existing user class is the subclass of the abstract class user. It represents a user's account for an existing user in our system. Each existing user has an ID, password, and balance associated with their accounts. This class declares a new variable which is balance, as we can see here. The access modifier for this variable is private, and the variable type is double to use for balance. It also has the getter and setter here for the balance variable, and the sign in method is called when an existing user successfully signs in. It displays a message with the user's ID, including a successful sign in. The check balance method here is used to retrieve and display the account's balance of the user. It provides valuable information about the user's financial status within our system. It prints out the user's ID and then the balance. That is all from me. Thank you.
So, hi everyone, my name is Omar Adif Muhammad Zahdi, and for my contribution, I will be talking about the class create account window. So what this class actually will do is that it will enable users to create the account window. So for this coding, as you can see, we start off with class create account window and then extend JFrame. So what does that mean? So what does that mean is that it actually enables user to create an account window, and then as you can see, I did mention the extend JFrame. So what that does is that it actually able to create a GUI window. So the class will take an array list of user object as a parameter, allowing us to manage the user account efficiently. Alright, so in case you are wondering which part of the coding that actually enables the user to create an account window, it was right over here, the class create account window extend JFrame. That will actually enable both the GUI and also the starting of writing the class create account window. So further through the what do we call the coding is that inside the create account window constructor, we set up the GUI component. We create label, we create text field for the user ID and also password input alongside with the create button to create the user account. So when the create button is clicked, this one for the, as you can see, the public create account array list users, for that one, when the create button is clicked, an action listener is triggered. So the action listener will raise the ID and password input from the text field, creating a new user object with the provided details, and calls the so-called, as you can see inside the slide, the sign in and then the open and also close bracket method on the newly created user object. So the sign in method is likely responsible for registering the user account within the system. It might involve checking for duplicate IDs or other validation where we will not we will restrict from user to create duplicate ID. So after successfully signing up the user, the action listener will add the new user object to the array list of user. So what this does is that this is to ensure that the new user is now part of the system and can log in later. So meaning to say that class is actually, we do it so that it will be able for them to save the data itself. So the GUI text field are then reset to allow the user to enter details for the next account. Meaning to say, after you click the sign in button, you click create, it will then reset. But then it's not like reset without saving it, but it actually will reset and it will save it inside an array. So finally, a status label is updated with a success message indicating that the account creation was successful. This is just to notify the user that the creation of an account is actually successful. So in conclusion, this whole code, the one that I highlighted, is actually to demonstrate a simple GUI for creating user account in this project. So yeah, we will meet at the next slide where I will be talking about how to actually check the user balance. So thank you. So hi everyone, it is me again, Muhammad Hadif. And for this part, I will be talking about the class chat balance window. So for this one, so what this class actually do is that it enable us, the user, to check the balance that the user will have inside the account itself. So like the previous class where we actually have created the user account, and for this class it is actually to enable the purpose of checking a user balance. So I guess without further ado, let's jump straight to the coding itself. So for this one, as you can see, the one I highlighted is that the class check balance window. Of course, the purpose I already mentioned before. So I will go through the coding itself. So I guess we'll start off the explanation of the code with the first line itself, where the check balance window. So as you can see, the code starts with the necessary statement to declare the check balance window class, which extends the JFrame class to create the GUI window. And if you notice, it is actually similar to the previous one, the create account window one. It is quite a straightforward procedure, quite a straightforward coding, which is, as you can see, it was written in a similar type. So the check balance window, the second one, as you can see, the one I highlighted, is the constructor that will take an array list of user object as a parameter, allowing us to access the list of user from the main application. Of course, like it mentions, it is to allow us to access the list of user from the apps itself. So when the check button is clicked, an action listener is triggered, meaning to say once the button check is clicked, the output will triggered and it will show us the result. So the action listener reads the user ID input from the text field, convert it to an integer, and then attempt to find the user with that ID in the main user list. If the user is found and is an instance of existing user, so existing user is actually a class from the upper hand of the coding where we have actually declared it beforehand. So what we did is that we retrieve their balance from the class existing user and display it in a pop-up message using JOptionPane. JOptionPane, yes, JOptionPane. So however, just a quick side note is that if the user is not found or is an instance of new user, I repeat, if the user is not found or is an instance of new user, we will display a message indicating that the user is either not found or is a new user. So for that part of coding it is highlighted over here. The one this one, the one that I highlight. And then add on, if the user enter an invalid ID, which is we took an example, a non-integer ID. So we catch the normal format exception and display an error message informing the user to enter a valid integer ID. So what this does is that we prevent the user from inputting different type or different data type other than integer, as we will implement that we will force the user to only enter integer rather than you enter character, rather than you enter symbol, etc. So that is all. I guess to conclude this Java code snippet will demonstrate a GUI application to check a user balance. Similar to the previous code, this one were written in a similar fashion, quite a straightforward one. But then, of course, it implements. This is where we actually use a lot of extending from different classes where we inherit another class to imply or to force some of the rules that were set by us. So yeah, I guess thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to be presenting this one. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Rifki Rushdi. For this coding, we have a add balance window class. So this class represents a custom window for adding balance to a user account is extend to the JFrame class, making a graphical window with the title bar and standard window features. So the class has 3 member variables, which mean ID field, balance field, and the users. So ID field is a JText field used for entering the ID of the user who balance need to be added. So for next class is user class. This is the base class for representing a user in the application. It likely contain member variable to store the user ID and relevant information not shown in the provide code. So next is existing user subclass. So this class is a subclass of user and represent user who already have a balance in their account. So they may be getter and setter with that method, especially specifically for handling the balance. For the another constructor is add balance window. This is the constructor function for the add balance window class. Is take a array list of user object as a parameter, which is passed from the main class. So the purpose of receiving the user list is to find and modify the balance of the selected user within through the window. So for the last function is action perform. So this is server as an action listening for the add balance button in the window. It's triggered when the button is clicked and is perform the necessary operation to add balance to the user account. It first retrieves the ID balance value entered by the user in the respective field. The ID is passed from a string to an integer for function processing. So in the attempt to find the user with the given ID, the user list, if the user is found and is instead of existing user, is at the enter balance to the user current balance and display a success message with the update balance. The last one is the function also had the exception, such as invalid ID, input, displaying an error message when necessary. Thank you.
These is the UML class diagram for the Cyber Cafe operation. As you can see, there are 7 class diagrams that we have implemented inside this coding. All the class that we use can be seen on this diagram and also on the right-hand corner where we have separated 4 references. 4 class above extends inheritance of JFrame. There are also abstract class of user used, where it is related to the new user and existing user class. Overall, we used 3 types of relationship in this coding, which is inheritance, association, and realization. In conclusion, managing a cyber cafe is no piece of cake, but with careful planning, dedication, and a pinch of tech savviness, success is within reach. Remember to prioritize customer satisfaction, stay up to date with the latest trends, and maintain a secure and inviting environment for all. Embrace the ever-changing digital landscape, and your cybercafe will thrive in this connected world. Thank you for listening and hope you have a good day.